Welcome to Super Flixx, the podcast covering superhero, sci-fi, and fantasy movies. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
I'm Batman. Gotta
We
do it, man.
are we are members of the Martial Arts InterNetwork, and you can check out our other show, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, on the Martial Arts InterNetwork. Look for it on all of your podcasting streaming platforms and YouTube. It comes out every Thursday on the Martial Arts InterNetwork. Joe, it's showtime. What's going on, man?
Not a whole
See you.
lot. Just I can't keep that on all day. It's too hot.
I was wondering if you were going to keep that on the whole time, man.
Nah, that was just for fun. I got a few things, here and there. Comic books are my favorite. So if I'm gonna dress up or I got a lot of t-shirts and stuff, it's all comic book related. So
I never knew that, man.
um
I didn't know that up until recently. Like when we were doing Fist Kicks and Flicks, maybe about a year or two ago. And you mentioned going to Comic Con, Motor City Comic Con. I never knew that. I never knew you were big into comics before then.
oh yeah. Um Before I had kids, I only went to Comic Con like twice. Just it was always hard to go for me because it always popped up at a time that I just wasn't able to go. So
Hmm.
then when my kids got into it, and now I have a couple of people who actually work there, so I can usually get some tickets or a discount.
Hmm.
So I get lucky with that. And then like I said, when the kids get involved, wifey's all about it, so it helps. And we
Hmm.
go there, we have a good time, man. It's a lot of fun. I haven't really got to do like there are some good people there this year. I don't know if you've seen
I
the
didn't. I
celebrity
didn't look
list.
I didn't look at the list yet. When is it? What weekend is it?
It's actually and it normally falls around this time. It's the weekend of my son's birthday, so it's like the 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Okay.
Like
All
that
right.
that Friday. It's always the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hmm. Okay. So that's
So
the
it's
week.
like that.
That's the week
Yeah,
before I
the
go to
second.
Dallas. Okay.
Okay, it's like the second week of weekend of May or the third weekend, something like that.
Hmm.
The couple years ago they had the full Karate Kid crew, like the original.
Oh no, I
Uh,
didn't. I probably forgot about it if I did know about it.
yeah, they had Daniel, they had Johnny, and they had Kreese.
Okay.
And then Zolo was supposed to be there, Miguel, but he backed out at the last second. So he is doing a makeup this year. And I just heard, even though it doesn't show up, I heard he's going to have Dimitri with him.
Okay. uh,
So that's going to be good. Jeremy Renner is supposed to be there. My favorite,
mhm,
actually, out of everybody that I like, would actually be the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys, that's
mhm.
probably one of my favorite tag team groups.
I keep kicking myself because I should have went over to Michael Jai White. I saw Michael Jai White that time when it was either when I met Crease or when I met Johnny. One of them.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jai White was there also, and nobody was at his table, so I could have went over there and talked with him for a while. But at this particular time, I was just pretty much there, just looking at talking to other comic book artists and cartoonists and things like that. And I saw
I
him. I was
did
like,
that. I did
hmm
that with Mick Foley 2 years ago.
saw him, and
Yeah, he was wrapping up. He had nobody around him. I didn't
mhm.
ask him for a picture. I mean, I probably could have. He was really fun to talk to. But I
He
talked
seemed
to him
like he
about his
would be.
book, and I just talked to him about wrestling and all his kids. My kids were looking at me like, "Who is this guy?" And I tried to tell him, I'm like, "Nah." I was like, "This dude's a legend." He was him, and I assumed it was his wife or girlfriend or something. That was maybe it was
Probably
his
wife. He's
manager.
married.
I don't
He's
know.
married. He's married.
Yeah, it looked like so. I talked to him for like 15 minutes, just kicked it with him. He's one of my favorites, so I just was like, I saw him packing up, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know, I don't have no money there, nothing. I just wanted to say, hey, you're the best, and da 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 da." And he just started talking back and forth, and said, have a good time. And then he packed up and left. It was cool.
Yeah, sometimes seeing some of those older wrestlers, I feel bad for them sometimes because sometimes, man, I every time I walk by some of them, nobody is with them. Like I saw Virgil. I never saw anybody getting anything from Virgil.
Whenever I go, the wrestling tables are usually the longest one. I had the biggest lines.
That's good. I seen Beefcake. Nobody was with Beefcake when I saw him.
Scott Steiner was there like 3 years ago. His line was out, and he wasn't even on the list. I think he showed up with Jericho,
Okay.
and he had a longer line than Jericho. That's what
Mm,
that one killed me. I was like, what? I was like, Jericho was on the actual guest list. I think Steiner just showed up and propped the table up,
okay. Did you
started
watch
taking money.
WrestleMania
And
this year?
I did not. I did not get a chance to watch it this year.
Okay.
How was it?
I don't know. I didn't watch it either. This is the first time I did not watch WrestleMania. I just really wasn't into it this year, man. And you know what I did? I watched the main event on night one. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I saw the CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns match. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. But I didn't see any other matches, man. And I'm
You
kind of glad
know,
I didn't watch that Cody and John Cena. That would have pissed me off if I would have saw that
oh
match.
yeah, I heard about that one. My middle child was into it for a while, so I
Okay.
used to I used to watch it with her a little bit, and she stopped caring. So
Hmm.
now all she wants to watch with me is anime now. So
Mm. I kind of slowed down on wrestling that SummerSlam when Roman Reigns won the title, when he was
yeah,
still a face, I believe, and that's when I started backing away because I just don't like that type of wrestling where they're constantly just they have their mind set on somebody and they're constantly just shoving them down our throats.
yeah,
The Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns, John Cena era of wrestlers. I don't like that type of wrestler, man. I don't enjoy it. I don't like the ridiculousness of the matches, especially with John Cena, man, because over the years, they just had him doing more and more ridiculous stuff where you're like, dude, you should not be winning this match.
oh
And
yeah,
he was constantly getting booed, and he's not a very good wrestler. He is good on the mic, but skill wise, I don't think he's a very good wrestler.
and he's a heel now though, right?
Yeah, he is a heel now. He is a heel.
See,
No,
I think
and that
at
was
that
he
point it
should
just don't
they
make
should
no
have
sense.
yeah, they should have did it years ago. Because at no point in time where the WWE ever would have brought in an older wrestler in to beat uh Roman Reigns or
Yeah,
John Cena. I mean, they had The Rock beat John Cena, but John Cena, The Rock was around for a little while, and people still kind of, cheered The Rock. Like The Rock was a Rock. I get that, but you're never gonna have, let's say, Chris Jericho is never gonna come back and beat
no,
a top guy.
no,
They're never going to do that, man. And to have John Cena beat Cody, if Cody would have won, that would have really, really elevated Cody to another level. I mean,
yeah,
because
for
they did it
sure.
with John Cena. He's beaten a lot of different people as he came up, and you know, I, man, that's just I can't see them doing that to John Cena or Roman Reigns at any point in time. And I just think that's just kind of messed up, man. How they did that, man. And some people are
Yeah, it'd
saying,
be
"Oh,
hard.
it's a work and it's that another." Yeah, it is. I get that, but I mean, I don't like. It's not that I don't like him as the character. I just don't like what the company is standing for and doing to give John Cena one last push and to pass Ric Flair's and have the title for 17 times and all of that
Oh,
crap, man.
okay. Yeah.
That's why they did that. And I'm just like, come on, man.
And he
And
don't even need that. Like him and The Rock
he
don't even
doesn't
need it because they're
exactly.
actors now. They're
Yeah.
actors now.
Yeah, so what's the point? And that goes back to what CM Punk was saying years ago. Why are you beating your current stars now for, the part timers to come in during WrestleMania season? Those losing to those wrestlers now helps elevate those other wrestlers. That's
Yes.
just, man. I just don't get it, man. I don't agree with it, man. So,
Yeah, they're definitely hurting themselves going that route for sure. Um Not much to really talk about during the week. I've had a few days off. Staying busy, trying to help out around the house. My wife, she still has, she had an art show last week. She has one on Thursday, and then she still has one more coming up. So she's been super busy with that. She's starting her master's degree program up again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she took a little break because things are getting a little crazy, but she wants to get that master's degree, and it'll open up. Not only will it give her a pay bump, but with the masters, she could and it has to be, like in art history, I think. She
Hmm.
could work at a college as a professor.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's exactly what you could do as with a master's. Yeah.
So I didn't realize like that's so she was always going to get her masters no matter what. But then, I mean, just opening that door, that's a good job, that's good money, and I
Hmm.
think she just creatively, if that was an option for her, she would really enjoy it. Even if she just did that like part time 1 day or 2 days a week, I
Hmm.
think she would enjoy that a lot because it allows her, being an art teacher for elementary, she gets to be very creative and she's really good at it. She's good with the kids, but you know, uh, college is a whole nother level. So I think it'll be something that's real good for her. And these are classes that she actually likes. The last time I forget what she was doing before, is she just couldn't get into it. So the fact that she's doing something she really enjoys, and it's all online,
Hmm.
she should be able to get it done within the next year or so.
Okay. Does that make you ever want to think about going to college?
Man, I'm past my prime on that. I was not a big school person. I wish I
Yeah.
would have. I mean, I feel like I missed out sometimes on the college experience,
Hmm.
but like just getting through high school was enough for me.
Yeah, you know what? What I realized, man, I think you have to be at a certain maturity level in order to go to college. I went, I went to college and but I didn't complete. I still have a couple. I'm still a couple credits shy of getting my bachelor's. And sometimes I think about going back and finishing it. Especially, like I said, I went back to school back in 2015,
Okay.
and I went back to school for I was in for about for an extra year and a half, just taking 2 or 3 classes a semester, working toward my degree. And the only reason I stopped was because I took the job at Google, and I worked there for about a year and a half. And working at Google, I didn't have time to finish. I definitely didn't have time because man, I had to be at my desk at 8:15 or something like that, and I got off work at about 5:30. By the time I got home, it would have been 6 o'clock. I just I wouldn't have been able to make it to any classes at that time because and when you go to the evening classes, I think classes started at 6 o'clock and they went from 6 to 8 or six
Yeah.
to nine or something like that. So I didn't get a chance to finish, but my mentality was different, as someone that is in their, mid 30s, mid to late 30s, as opposed to somebody that's 18, 19, or 20. When I went back,
Oh, 100%.
I
Percent.
went back,
100%.
man, and I was getting good grades. I mean, A's and B's. That's what I was getting when I went back to school, and it was because I didn't look at it as, man, I'm just doing this because my parents want me to do it, or I'm just doing this just to get out the class, just so I say I passed this class. I was treating it like a conversation. So I was sitting at the front of the class and I was discussing, going back and forth with the professor. And when you do it like that and it's more like a conversation, you retain the information. It's not like punishment, you know.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
so
100%.
it was a little bit more of an enjoyable experience, and it was easier passing the test that way also.
My wife can just like she blows through school like it's no problem. Like I've never seen anything like it. And
Hmm.
she her brother is the same way. Like they just pick up everything they are taught.
Hmm.
Like I always joke. I say I feel like they could fall asleep in a book and absorb the information. Like I don't under I've never seen brain like my brain doesn't work that way.
Mine either,
Like
man.
I could sit in a classroom for an hour and be like, what do we just talk about?
Yeah, yeah.
And
You have to be in the conversation in order to remember that
yeah,
stuff. Some of
it's
that stuff.
crazy, or I have to really like study to pass this and that and everything. And she'll just go and be like, oh, yeah, I get it. Okay. Knew some weird math equation that I looks foreign to me. And She, and if she doesn't understand something, she'll go on YouTube or she'll go online and
Hmm.
figure it out, and then apply it. And I'm just like, I don't know how that my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah, man.
I
And
wish it did.
that's another thing too, man. It was school was so much easier when I went back because if I was having a problem with homework, all I had to do was Google it. The
Yep.
answer was right there in Google. You know, the books were shit. Them damn books were expensive, man. I went to go get I went to go get 3 books, I think, and in the bookstore, the person that rung me up was like 666.
$400.
No, he said 666, and I was like $66.66. They were like, no, 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 $666. I was like, hell no, take these books back. And I was like, I'll be back. And I left. I went to the library on campus. I went to the library. The books were there. So what I did was I took my iPad and I took a picture of the chapters that I was needed to read. Took the pictures, boom. Now I'm looking at it. I'm reading the work, on my iPad. So now it's like a book. You can also rent books, ebooks also online that are way
Yep.
way cheaper. Also, just all of the ebooks that you needed weren't available. Every book wasn't available. So sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you had to go to the library like I did and take the pictures. Um, it was something else also. Um, yeah, man, but that was crazy. Oh, there was a website also. There's a website where people rate teachers. So
Oh yeah.
I was on that website all the time, and if I saw somebody was like, "No, this person is hard," or "This person gives a lot of tests," or "This person," I was finding the easiest teachers for the whatever subject I needed. I would find the easiest one, whoever had the best reviews, and I would select those teachers and take those teachers. So yeah, man, I enjoyed it when I went back, man. I probably would go back now if I could find a way to have the time, but as of right now, man, my schedule is kind of
I'm
tight
telling
right.
you, a lot of the schools do online, and that's the way to do it. Because, like for her online stuff, she has to do these group discussions. Like I think they're once or twice a week.
Hmm.
She just has to participate in them, and then they give her the assignment for the week, and you finish it, and then you get the next one. And so, I think hers was accelerated, so it might be like 2 assignments a week.
Yeah, yeah,
But other than that, man, like you just sometimes she's doing that stuff, at bedtime.
yeah.
But
So
at least she
the way
got it
I
done.
the way I did it was I had 2 classes in person and 1 class online. The
Yep.
online class, you had 2 types of online classes. You had some online classes where it was like school, like you had to be at the computer at 9 o'clock because that's when
Yep.
class started. And then you had another class where it was almost independent study. So you were in like an English class and you go to the website and you knew what assignments were due because it was just already listed and you would just follow along and do your
Yeah.
reports that way. Uh, but it was cool. It was cool. All
What you
right.
been up to?
Man, same old man. I didn't go to jujitsu this week, man. I'm gonna go Friday, but I haven't been
Okay.
since last Tuesday, man. I just wanted to take some time off, a couple days off. So I'll be back on the mat on Friday. I'll go Friday and Saturday, have classes. Um, Still working on the website, still working on Jump Kick Studios, man.
Okay.
Loading my comics up on there, man. I think right now I'm at comic number, it doesn't say, here it is, 63. I got 63 comics. Well, it's at 63, but I did not put the first 34 comics on there. So right now I'm at strip number 63. So I'm gonna keep on editing and adding more and more comics to the website.
How many you got?
I think I did, of my original run, I think I did 134, 35, something like that. So I'm gonna put
Okay.
most of those back on while I get ready to, start drawing the new comics,
All
so.
right.
But the funny thing
Cool.
is, I'm reading these comics like I didn't write them, so I'm like, oh, hey, that's pretty funny. Good job, G. I forgot. I mean, because these comics I wrote back in 2014, so
Yep.
it's been a minute, so I haven't really paid that much attention to them. So out of sight, out of mind. So I kind of forgot them. So you'll probably start seeing me posting them on Facebook and Instagram now. Because I'm quite sure if I forgot them, the people that saw them before probably forgot them also. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna put them on there as I start gearing up, man. But man, messing around with this website, man, it's not fun, man. Luckily, I have Trav I can contact when I got questions, and then my daughter, she's in. Both of them are both computer people, and they're both work in computers and networking and things like that. So, uh, Kara, she's helped me out on this. I got to a point actually where I probably for the comics, I probably needed to make another website, and I did not want to make the website because I just wanted one central hub for all of my
Yeah.
projects that I have going on. And also, I didn't want to pay another hosting fee every month. Also, so I'm already paying for Jump Kick Studios, and I got Jump Kick Athletics for the clothing line. So both of those are good. And I was like, man, I don't want to have a third one. So I found a way to put the comics on here and make it work for everybody. So, it is what it is. And as time goes on, I might switch formats, but for now, this is good enough. I'm good with it. So I'm happy with it.
All
All right.
right. Sounds good.
Let's talk about Batman from 1989. What did you think about this movie?
For 1989, it was pretty good. I mean, Michael Keaton's a great Batman. Jack Nicholson was a great Joker.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
do you think this
Interesting
movie
version
held?
of the Joker.
Do you think this movie held up?
Almost.
Yeah,
Almost. It was
I think
right there.
I
It
think
was
so.
pretty
It's not
good.
bad. Yeah, because
No, it was good. For
when you
1989, like, it was
yeah
pretty good.
because if you look at Superman, Superman does not hold up in 2025.
No.
That none of those four movies that we watched. Maybe the fifth one might be okay. Superman Returns. That is
Yeah.
that's
You
okay.
know, the only thing I was thinking about this one was I thought they would give us like how he became Batman. And he
I'm
just
glad.
showed up and he was Batman.
I'm happy that they didn't. I'm I'm happy that they didn't do that.
It was fine. I mean, they made it work, but
Mhm.
I just thought it was kind of weird that they didn't do that. But this movie had a lot of names in it, and I
Mhm.
forgot this was Tim Burton.
Yeah. Yeah. But this movie was not like the second one. Like the second movie, you could tell like this is a Tim Burton movie. This movie did not feel like a Tim Burton movie. And I wish the
No,
second movie had kept that same type of feeling because
I agree.
I didn't enjoy the second one as much as this one. Especially when I
Um,
went to the theater to see it.
yeah,
But
it
talk
was
about what you
crazy because I was
Mhm.
thinking the same thing. Like when you think of a Tim Burton movie, it's supposed to be real dark, but they didn't really go that route with this one that much.
What did you but Tim Burton movies get kind of wacky and weird too, man. And
Yeah,
I just I'm not somebody that's into all of that stuff. So, but you said this was an interesting take on the Joker.
yeah, because you've heard so many when the Joker gives his story. Like one story, it's this one where he gets the chemical burns, and that's how he gets the smile. And then
Hmm.
another one, it's his father cut him, lip to lip.
Hmm.
And so it's interesting when you see the different ways that he becomes, the way he is. Now, this one was interesting because when he was Jack, he wasn't like crazy. He
No,
didn't seem psychotic. It's
right.
almost like they changed the when he fell into the chemicals, it changed his personality.
Hmm. Yeah,
So I thought
yeah.
that was interesting because in some of the other stories, he was already crazy
Hmm.
and just as the Joker became a little more crazy
Yeah, you're
and
right.
sadistic and crazy. So this one, he wasn't quite the clown, but he wasn't quite the psychopath. He was kind of like right in between.
Yeah, he's the gangster. So, like I said, like so
Yeah,
they did a story in the comics, and they said that there are three Jokers, three people who claim to be the Joker. Batman never knew that. He thought it was just one person, the Joker.
Yep.
But no, he found out it was three people, and you have the comedian, the psychopath, and the gangster. So, and this one was the gangster version of the
100% was the
Joker. So,
gangster.
yeah.
And he started off working for a gangster, got set up by that gangster, and then basically took out the competition and went after the Batman.
Hmm.
And this
Oh,
one, he
I
was
wonder why
also a
they.
little bit of a lover boy.
Yes, and that's another thing that I was talking with Avery and Travis about that we don't see in the newer Batmans. Like they always said that Bruce Wayne is the millionaire playboy. In the other versions, we really don't get that. We'll see they'll show him on a boat with a bunch of girls, but that's it. They don't really show too much of anything else, you
Or
know.
in the Dark Knight when he was came back and he was just playing the philanthropist, but
Yeah.
really that wasn't his actual personality.
I always thought they should have made Bruce Wayne act when he's Bruce Wayne act more like how Tony Stark acts.
Yeah,
That's how
make
Bruce
more
Wayne I would
sense.
think, and then he will switch to the Batman mode when he's Batman, and Bruce Wayne is just a front. You know.
Yes. I like this opening scene. You got these criminals. They're kind of talking to each other. The one brings up Batman. He's
Hmm.
like, I heard this and that. The other guy's like, no, that's not a thing. And
Hmm.
literally, as they're talking about it, you see in the background, he just drops, he just slowly
Yeah.
drops down. That's my favorite part about the Michael Keaton Batman.
Hmm.
He just shows up.
Hmm.
And then literally the guy, that iconic part where he's got the guy over the ledge and he goes, who are you? And he's like, I am Batman. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows that part because it's repeated over and over again, by every Batman now. But
And
that was the original.
the funny thing is, Michael Keaton improvised that part. Like that wasn't part of the script.
Makes sense.
you
Makes
know.
sense.
And now it's
The other
and now
part,
it's a
the other
classic
part
line.
that cracked me up in this movie was Harvey Dent, Buddy D. Williams,
Hmm.
aka Lando Calrissian.
Hmm.
Like I've never paid attention to all the other movies he's been in, but I keep seeing
No.
him pop up whenever we start watching these movies. He just pops up everywhere.
Yeah, Billy D was the Denzel of his time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's who he was. He was the Denzel of his time.
Real smooth talker.
Hmm.
So right after that, we get introduced to Jack, played by Jack, who's
Hmm.
going to be the Joker. He's got his gangster hat, he's got his suit and tie. He is holding a stack of cards, and he does like kind of show a Joker. I don't know if it was on the back or the front, but just almost as a foreshadow.
Yeah.
And then he's got a nice girl on his arm, and apparently his boss sets him up over the girl,
Yes.
is what he
Because
said.
yeah, so he knew. Yeah, so the scene where Jack and the girl are talking, and she says like hopefully Grissom doesn't find out about us, this that and the other, and he said
Yeah.
he doesn't know this that and the other. So, but he did know. So he was going to get rid of him. He's messing around with his girl. I was surprised though
Um,
that they didn't use one of they have two families of mob bosses
yeah, I was thinking the same
in
thing.
Batman. It's Maroni is one, and I can't remember the other one. It's starts with a C. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Let me
I
look.
was thinking the same thing because they bring him in the Penguin.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, they're in every other. They're in the Dark Knight Returns also.
Yeah. So I was thinking the same
Or
thing.
no,
Instead, they just
no, my bad. The Dark Knight. They're in the Dark Knight.
yeah. We get introduced to Commissioner Gordon and
Falcone, and the
Fel-
Maronis. Yes, those are the
yeah,
two.
Falcone and yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Instead, we get Grisham.
Hmm.
Don't know where that came from, but okay. And Grisham has a cop uh on his payroll, and the cop's the one that sets Jack up,
Hmm.
or is used to set Jack up.
Hmm.
At the same time, they're talking about you know something's going down at the chemical plant and all this other stuff. And then there's a reporter who is trying to get a story on Batman, but the police are denying Batman. His editor is denying that Batman exists. Like everybody, as of right now, they're like, there is no Batman,
So
and they're treating
and that
Batman not like a person. They're
yeah,
treating him like he's like a inhuman, like an actual bat turned into a man or a man turned into a
right.
bat.
So that kind of makes sense up to this point because Batman has only been around for about a month. So this is
Yeah,
relatively new for, Batman. So people in Gotham, they had never seen or heard anything. So it's almost like aliens now. Like somebody says they saw an alien, you're not believing them, you know.
yep. So he doesn't really have any people on his side, but he's really trying to crack the code on this whole thing. And he's talking to his editor and a couple other people, and they're making fun of him, drawing pictures and everything like that. And he looks over and he sees someone at his desk. It's Kim Basinger playing Vicky Vale, and
Hmm.
she's a photographer, and she says she believes him about the Batman, and kind of joins forces with him to he'll be the journalist and the reporter, and she'll hopefully try to get a picture.
Right.
Is the idea. So uh I don't know why the first time I seen her name pop up, I was thinking does she is she Catwoman? But I was like,
No.
Catwoman is Michelle
Mhm.
Pfeiffer, so that's down the road.
Yeah.
So now, does she show up in the next movie? Because I don't think she
No.
does.
No.
So
She doesn't.
she was like in love with Bruce Wayne, and
Yes.
he was
After one night.
acting in love with her because he was about to tell her who he was,
Yes.
and then she never shows up again.
Right.
Makes
Um,
no
I,
sense.
I think they mentioned what happened in the next movie. I think they mentioned what happens to her.
I'll be interested to know what that's about.
I wonder what happened to her in the comics too, because I don't really see her character in the comics. I don't know if they killed her off or whatever, but she is a real character. It's not like the Superman stuff where they just
Yeah.
make
So
people up for the movies.
just yeah. So we see Grisham and we see Nick and we see his girl or their girl, whatever you want to call
Hmm.
it. And they're talking about this chemical plant and something's going down. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess that was one of Grissom's his businesses. And
so meanwhile we get what's the reporter's name? I can't remember.
Knox.
Knox. So Knox and Vicky, they're gonna go to Bruce Wayne's party and try to see what they can find out from the people of the town, the be
Mayor,
all end all, the mayor, anybody who might have some
police
information on the
chief.
Batman,
Yeah,
which is pretty
Knox.
funny because literally you're in the layer of the lion, you just don't know it.
Hmm. And Knox, what he said was he had been trying to get the chief on the phone, and he couldn't get a conversation with him. So that's why that was the main person. Now it was interesting that when he did talk to the chief says if there's a Batman, we'll catch him and arrest him. Because of course
Yep.
he's a vigilante. That's what you're supposed to do to a vigilante. Not you can't just have vigilantes running around doing police work, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it's a bad idea.
Now the interesting thing about this party to me is why is Vicky for the rest of the movie walking around in a white dress? Almost looks like a wedding dress.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was weird.
I don't know.
Um,
I didn't even. I mean, I see it now in my head, but I didn't think about it at the time. Yeah.
yeah, it was just a little weird to me. I was like, out of everything, like, usually when the love interest shows up like at a party, they're usually in like some black dress or red, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Something sparkly. But this one, she literally just put a veil on her and she looked like she was getting married.
Hmm.
Um, Alfred comes by and lets Bruce know that something's going on with the police that maybe he wants to investigate. Basically saying there sounds like there's a matter that needs to be taken care of by Batman.
Right. Right.
So and he leaves his own party and he goes to investigate. And this is all he's at the chemical plant where he runs into the soon to be Joker and Grisham's people and the police. I don't know what that guy was, like a police sergeant or a captain.
Yeah, I think he was
Whatever
like a.
he was definitely on the take. He was on Grisham's payroll.
Yeah, and I think he was the inspiration for Bullock because in the cartoon they had this character named Bullock. Even though Bullock wasn't a bad guy, but he eventually sticks around because we end up seeing Bullock again in Gotham. But I think
Yeah,
this guy Eckhart, his name was Eckhart. I think Eckhart might have been the inspiration for Bullock. Bullock.
makes sense. Makes a lot of sense actually. So right here, Batman, he shows up. He tries to thwart whatever's going on, and him and the soon to be Joker get into a bit of a mix up, and he ends up throwing him in a vat of chemicals. We don't know what they are. We have no idea. And
Yeah.
we just assume that's the end of him. He's dead.
Hey, hold on one second. So when Jack gets to the chemical plant because Grissom told him to go there,
Yeah.
he realizes that he's been set up when they break into the safe and he realized there's nothing in the safe because they were supposed to be there to clean out the warehouse because the
Yeah.
mayor had been targeting mob bosses businesses, so they had a feeling that their business was next, so that's why they wanted to go in there and clean it out, but when he got there it was
Well, that was
already
the
cleaned out.
story. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
story he told him.
Yeah. So, so once he opened the safe up and they saw that nothing was in there, he had a feeling like he had been set up. So he told his guys to be on the lookout. And Eckhart, he was outside and his instructions from Grissom, because Grissom called him as soon as Jack walked out. Grissom called him. Now Eckhart's he wasn't there to arrest Jack. He was there to kill
No.
him,
Oh,
you
of
know.
course.
But and now what was weird also was like you said, the chief had left the Bruce Wayne's party, and he got there, and he said that he was taking over this investigation, and he says, "I'm in charge, not Grissom." So the chief knows that Eckhart is working with the mob. I'm thinking, like, why did you arrest him? You
Gotta
got
prove it.
him.
Gotta prove it.
Well, obviously he must have something on Eckhart to say, "I'm in charge, not Grissom."
Must be speculation
Mm.
because you gotta prove it.
I,
Now,
I I think he could have probably did, but go ahead.
I'm sure he could have, but why
Mhm.
why didn't he do it then?
I have no idea, and he doesn't even need to because once the police get there and all hell starts breaking out, and Jack's guys are fighting and shooting with the police. Jack takes this opportunity that he knows that I'm just gonna go ahead and kill Eckhart. So
Oh
he
yeah.
calls out to him and just shoots him. Boom, he's dead. He's out of here.
I knew that was gonna happen though, but the Batman foiled everything, not just the
Yeah.
captain, but the Batman because he starts breaking up the whole thing. And like I said, he threw Jack into the thing during their sprawl. And we think that's the end of him, but we know better because now he's going to be the Joker.
Well,
And
he
so,
didn't. He was actually he kind of fell in there, didn't he? And he was trying. He was holding him, tried to pull him up, and he was just too heavy, and he ended up
yeah,
slipping out of his hands, and he ends up falling in that stuff.
but he
You would
didn't
have
feel
thought
bad
that.
about it.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't feel bad about it. No.
So I thought that was weird because, like I said, who knows what those chemicals were? And I mean,
He
to
should have
only
died
come out of it, that's what I'm saying. But to only come out of it with your face messed up,
in skin.
not, not, I mean, some of the skin, but not much.
No, his whole skin. He was all white. He was
I
all white.
thought he was painting himself white.
No, no, he was painting himself his normal skin color because he didn't want
Oh,
anybody
okay.
to know. Yeah, his skin was turned white, so he had makeup
Oh,
on that he was putting on his face. So
oh, that was even weirder because when he would put the the makeup with that
yeah,
get that smile,
yeah,
it just
it
didn't look
looks
right.
it looked creepy. It
Creepy.
looked real creepy.
So he shows up and basically looking with that smile, and he's talking to all these gangsters, and basically he's showing his Joker side.
Now I wonder what he looked like before that, because remember he did go to a plastic surgeon, and the plastic surgeon did something to him. So maybe that plastic surgeon,
Yeah, they didn't show us.
no, they didn't. His head was all bandaged up, and he just asked for the mirror, and when he saw how he looked, he just started laughing. Um, but yeah, maybe the plastic surgeon. I don't think the plastic surgeon gave him the smile, but
No,
who knows what the plastic surgeon did for him?
could have been interesting. So he shows up at this mob meeting. Uh, One of the guys who's questioning him says something, and he says, "You know what? You're right," and gives him a handshake. And he's got a joy buzzer that fries the guy to death. It's a little ridiculous, but that's true. That's true Joker
Yeah,
style,
it is.
and everybody else tries to help out and get up, and we're looking like we're gonna go to war here, but he's got his crew showing up all in purple now. So this is the era where you got the white faced Joker with the green hair slicked back
Hmm.
and the purple suit and the blue tie and the orange vest.
All these
I
different
mean,
bright
it's
colors.
you know this Joker to me is he's really done well because I think only Jack Nicholson really could. Jack Nicholson brought this to life pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah, he did.
Like he did a great job. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
this
He did.
Joker to me is hard to play because you can't be too goofy,
Hmm.
but you can't be too psychotic because you got to be that gangster with a little bit of fun. And he did a good
Yeah,
job with that.
he did a better job being Joker than Gene Hackman did being Lex Luthor to me.
Oh, by far. Oh my God. 100%.
Yeah.
So he's basically at this meeting telling everyone, you know, Grisham's done. I'm taking over. If you don't like it, get out or die.
Hmm.
Basically, the conversation. And he has the talk with Grisham afterwards. And he tells him, "Really? You set me up over a girl? Like, that wasn't smart." He's like, "Well, guess what? It didn't work. You're done."
He kills him. He shoots him a bunch of times.
Oh, a bunch of times. And so, I mean, this is his path. He's on the rise.
Hmm.
And he's going to start taking anybody else out that gets in his way. And then his plan, which he doesn't really give away right away, he just kind of lets it unfold. He starts making products that of everyday use, and they basically make people laugh themselves to death.
Yes, and now this right here, this really hits home to me because I think this is really kind of happening in real life now. Like, and I don't mean like people getting turning into jokers with a smile, but I'm thinking the amount of people that are getting cancer now is at an
Oh yeah,
alarming rate compared to back in the day. And it could be because we eat a lot of chemicals, we put a lot of chemicals on. Chemicals are always in the air, and I think that that is causing some of the stuff that's happening to people now. And that would make sense. And it's kind of like what, we're taking in all this poison all of the time.
yep,
It's just not one thing. Of course, one little thing might not happen if you're eating all this processed food, but the combination of processed food with the smog, the smog in the air, the different types of stuff we put on our skin for lotion or deodorant, or stuff we using for brushing our teeth. You never know, what all of these chemicals combined are doing to us, and it
yep.
could be something similar to this.
It's very interesting and very true. So Bruce Wayne, before he leaves, and him and Miss Vale, they spend the night together, and she's real smitten with him, and he puts on a good act, but we don't really know how they feel. And then he says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be out of town for a few days," and tells her goodbye, and she kind of feels like, "What the heck?" And then she says something to Alfred, and she's like, "Okay, I guess I'll see you in a few days." He's like, "We're gonna be here,"
Yeah,
so
Alfred should have
she
known
goes
better.
and follows him. Well, he really should have.
He should have
But
known better.
the stupid thing is, he wasn't even doing anything like fishy.
Right.
He was just going to visit the spot where his parents were killed, drop a few roses, and just run it. He wasn't, but she's following him around like their boyfriend and girlfriend. Y'all
Yeah.
slept together once. Get over it.
Literally, he met her the night of the party,
Yes,
and this is the second time they've seen each other, and she got drunk at the house, as Alfred told stories, and then they slept together, and I'm like, okay, like, why are all of a sudden you guys are madly in love with each other? Like, come on now, like, you guys haven't even gone on a real date yet.
exactly. So she's a little obsessive, but it is what it is. There's a meeting out front with I'm assuming, is it the mayor or
It's the
is it
mayor.
another
Har-
gangster?
and you talking about what, Harvey Dent? Harvey Dent, the
The
mayor.
Who's the
Yeah.
guy that Joker stabs with the pen?
So that was the guy that was at the meeting.
Yeah.
That was the guy that was at the meeting. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
He
So
said his name was Vinny.
yeah,
He looked like a gangster, so maybe he was
yeah, he
just a
was.
gangster type.
Yeah, he was. So the
So this
mayor,
is
the mayor
yeah,
wants to keep having. So it's the 200th anniversary of Gotham,
yeah.
and the mayor wants to have a celebration. But even though they're trying to tell him not to have it, the Batman's out here. We don't know what he's going to do, and now we got this crazy Joker out here. Maybe
Well,
we
and
should
this is
wait.
the Joker's coming out party at this point
Yeah,
because he does this in a public setting, shoots up the place, and drives off,
yeah.
which
I would
is
have
true
thought something
Joker
was funny.
style.
Nobody was really paying attention to all of the mimes walking around. I would have thought that was weird. All of a sudden, we have all these
Yeah, I'm not
mimes
a
coming out everywhere.
I'm not a big fan of mimes. Like one mime is okay, but if there's like five of them, I'm probably gonna be like, peace out.
Stuff is
Especially
just
after
getting a
watching
little too
this.
weird for you, huh?
I don't know, man. That's too many mimes.
Yeah.
Why do we need that many mimes? You know what I'm saying? It is pretty funny. Like I said, that this version of the Joker, some of them you see like they have clowns. So this is his first like group of his posse.
Hmm.
Kind of like you said, disguised as mimes, and he comes out. He's got his own little clown outfit and everything on. So it was interesting. And then we see Bruce and Alfred talking a little bit about Mrs. Vale, and they're having a conversation. And Bruce is even kind of like, "Dude, I barely know this chick. Like, what the heck?"
That's what
And
I was thinking. I was on Bruce's side.
Alfred's like, "Well, she seems all right. Maybe you could tell her your secret, bro. You just met this chick, and y'all. She got drunk and y'all hooked up. Okay, so now it's time to tell your secret. What's wrong with Alfred?
Well, what's wrong with Alfred is they have only been doing this for a month. He doesn't know any better at this point in time.
I guess, but still, that's a little nuts. We
Yeah.
find out for whatever reason, the Joker. I guess him and his girlfriend don't work out, so he's looking for a new bae,
Hmm.
and he decides
Well, she
for
wasn't
whatever
dead
reason,
yet.
not yet, but he's already looking
Hmm.
because he decides Vicky Vale is it.
Hmm.
So he's cutting
Now,
pictures out.
this was silly too. This part was silly because Bob, that's his guy. His name was Bob the Goon. I remember that because I had the toy. His name was Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon. That was his name. So Bob gives him these pictures, and he's looking at the pictures, and he sees Knox, and then he sees Vicky Vale, and he just becomes smitten with her. And
Yes.
then he asks Bob, "Who is this?" And he says, "Vicky Vale. She's dating this guy named Wayne." And I said, they just, like you said, they just hung out one time, one night. How does anybody
Yes.
else know this? Number one. Number two, he should not just be like he's dating some she's dating some guy named Wayne. No. Everybody in Gotham knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Yes.
So, Joker and Bob should have been like, "Oh, she's with Bruce Wayne? Oh, okay." They shouldn't have done it like he was just a nobody. That was strange. That was bad
It was
writing.
very strange. It was very strange. The next scene we see, it has a news report, and they're talking about something, and the lady news reporter just starts laughing hysterically for no reason, and she laughs herself and falls over, and then they try to cut the news report, and of course the Joker pops on and starts talking about all these products that are going to be the new and improved Joker grin products. Put a happy grin on your face
Hmm.
instead of product X, which makes you sad. But
Yeah. So she started laughing. The guy was reporting on the death of two models, and they
yes,
died from having the I think he called it Smilex was his new chemicals that he's putting out here.
and yeah, she fell over and died, and then they're trying to figure out like what are these products
Hmm.
because he's not putting them out as Smilex. He's
No.
just apparently distributing them throughout random regular old products,
Hmm.
and there's no like real pattern. So Harvey Dent's trying to figure it out. The mayor's trying to figure out. Bruce Wayne, aka Batman's trying to figure this out. Because I mean, this is an epidemic. This is a pandemic, man. Like we gotta figure out. All these people are gonna start dying
Hmm.
with big goofy smiles on their face.
Hmm.
That would have to, you know what? That would have to be a closed casket because if I show up at my loved one's funeral and they're just got some big creepy smile, I'm gonna be like, nah, man, no, thank you.
Yeah, they're probably they would probably cremate these people, man.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so this next, somehow Alfred shows up and tells Bruce that Mrs. Vale is gonna be late to their date,
Hmm.
and Bruce says, "We don't got a date." So you would have thought he would have been confused and thought maybe somebody else set her up,
Hmm.
but he really doesn't even check in on her. I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, well, maybe he did, and we just didn't see it because he shows up where he was supposed to show up as
Oh,
Batman.
yeah, but like way later,
Well,
I would
yeah,
have thought he would have.
I mean, he didn't know. He had to investigate. He didn't know where she was going, where they were supposed to
I
be.
know it was really odd. He showed up like super late because she's at this restaurant waiting and she's getting a little furious, and then a present shows up and it's a gas mask. So
Hmm.
she's supposed to put this on because all this gas starts filling up the room and drops everybody. And then here pops in the Joker.
Yeah, with a Prince soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
that
and he's redecorating the museum.
yeah, he's just you know with the boom box.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
how you know it's still the '80s with that big
Yeah.
old boom box to the ear. Boom
Yeah, man,
box
because
playing
kids
Prince.
kids don't understand. I remember DJ. I know Melissa one time. Melissa was saying that she was listening to the radio one time when she was younger, right? And DJ, she says you had the car in the house because she associates the radio with something that's in the car. She doesn't associate a
Okay.
radio with something that you have now. Like these kids don't listen to music on radios now; they listen to it on their phone. So she
Oh, that's
doesn't.
so funny.
So, yeah, so she didn't know what a radio. And we had to explain to her like, no, no, no. We used to have radios. We used to, have stereos, and we would play music. But she didn't know that.
My parents still use their radio up until I got my mom an Alexa
Okay.
and taught her how to use it
Mm-hmm.
and showed her how to play music on it. But before, she would just put on a radio station and let that play most of the day
Mm.
on the radio. And I used to laugh. I'm like, Ma, like, you know, nobody uses a radio anymore. We got iPods and
Well, you
we
know,
got,
some people who do construction, they still carry
yeah,
radios with them, or somebody who likes to do home improvement, they'll have a radio with them, and that's kind of
yeah. But
smart. Like I,
even now, you could just have a speaker in your phone.
you could. You could and keep your phone in your pocket, but some of these guys, man, they're old school guys, man. They're on their knees, they're on their bellies, they're doing stuff. Sometimes even in a
Yeah.
shop, auto shop, a radio will be, on a shelf and it's all dusty and dirty and everything, So every now and then you'll see a radio somewhere.
So when the Joker sits down to talk to Vicky, it's it's funny to me because this dude, he's serious. Like he wants her to be his new girl. He wants all the stuff and everything to go down. But how can you take this man serious with all this makeup on his face,
Yeah.
this stupid ass hat that he's wearing, like a baker's hat, and that grin? Like
Yeah. He
how,
calls
I
himself an
want to know.
artist.
I know, right? I want to know how they did this scene because how can you do this scene and not laugh? Like
Oh, she probably had to laugh. She probably had to laugh multiple times.
I'm sure there's outtakes out there somewhere
Yeah. Yeah.
because man, like I just could not take you serious if you're trying to like pick me up or whatever, and you're just sitting there acting like this. Like it's great. But he was dead serious. And then he was even getting mad like at Bruce Wayne because at this point she was more into Bruce. Like he was really expecting her to be like, "Oh yeah, like you're my savior.
She didn't
You're my
even know
hero."
he existed. She had never
Exactly.
she had never seen him before. And then he brought the other
So,
girl in
uh,
and showed her what
uh
he did to her for whatever reason, like he disfigured her for whatever reason.
yeah, made her look like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
So Batman shows up, and this is the first time we get to see the Batmobile. Which, by the way, this is one of my favorite Batmobiles.
Mine's too.
Like,
Mine's
I know
too.
the Dark Knight had like a more modern version of the Batmobile. Garbage. This is a
I,
Batmobile.
yeah, I didn't like that tumbler, that thing.
Yeah.
I no, the Batmobile should always be a car to me.
Yes.
I don't, if he has anything else, just call it the Bat Tank or whatever. But you
Yeah.
don't need to, say this is. I'm not a fan of that. And I'm thinking like
So,
those big tumbler vehicles. Like, how can this thing drive down the street? It seems like it's too big. It's too wide to even drive in the lanes.
like I said, this Batmobile was slick because it looked cool, and then he had a like an armor mode that he could put it in.
Yeah,
So
I used
he
to like
could
that
he
shield.
could lock the whole thing down.
Yeah,
He had turbo thrusters and Gatling hooks, and he had all kinds of gadgets on this thing. This is definitely like if we were to rate Batmobiles, this is probably going to be number because this I
you
love
know
this
what?
Batmobile.
Yeah, I do too, man. This gonna be my favorite. But also, I didn't think the other Batmobile was bad from the 1960 show. I didn't
I
have a problem
agree.
with that. I didn't have a
No, I
problem with that at
agree as
all.
well. I agree. Um, so every time I think of the Batmobile, I mean, even the way the hood, comes off to get out and everything, like
Hmm.
it's just so slick. It's so
Yeah, it
really
is.
and to come up with this kind of like concept car in the 1989, like oh man, could you imagine what that would look like now? It would be so nice.
You
And
mean
like
in
I
real
said, he's
life,
got
you're able to buy one and drive that around?
no, just even in
Oh,
the movies, I don't care.
okay, okay.
Shit, that would cost so much to get something like that with all that stuff on it.
Have you seen one before? A replica?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have too. I saw one down in Kentucky at the Corvette Museum. They had one in there.
yeah, they're pretty sweet looking
Yeah,
and interesting. Now, I forgot about this part. He asked her how much she weighs because
yeah,
he's about to put her on a Gatling hook, and then he says something about it later. I don't think you were quite 108.
yeah.
That is so wrong. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, shut your mouth. Come on. You can't treat nobody like that. I mean, this Bruce Wayne is cold, man. So he sends her out of the way so he can fight the Joker's minions. And you know, they never learn. They keep shooting Batman, not realizing
Yeah.
like he's got
Armor.
armor on basically.
Yeah.
So they always shoot him, and like if you're gonna shoot him, man, shoot him in the head.
You know what
And
was funny? What was funny about this scene also was when they shot him, he falls down and acts like he's dead. And they touch him and they said, "Oh, this is armor." Like, "Oh, so he's human after all." So you were chasing this guy thinking that he might have been a monster? Uh,
right, I
I
never even
wouldn't have
thought
did
of it
that.
that way.
I wouldn't have did that. That was crazy to me when I saw that. They were like, "Oh, he's human anyway."
Yeah,
What?
no, the craziest part about this scene to me is they're about to take his helmet off. He
Yeah.
just saved Vicky's life, and she's got trying to take a picture of him.
Yeah.
Bitch, what is wrong with you? That you worried about that picture? This dude just saved you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget your picture. Ask him for the picture later.
Nah.
That was
That was messed up.
I,
That was messed up.
it really was.
Yeah.
She was like hoping she could get a picture of him with the mask off.
She's
And where was
concerned
she
about
keeping that camera?
why did she have the camera? She was going on a date.
Exactly. That's a big ass camera. Where was she
Yeah, it
keeping
was.
that camera?
Maybe in her hair. I don't know, man.
I'm
She,
telling you,
she had
man.
a lot of hair.
She really did.
I don't know. Maybe photographers are supposed to take the camera everywhere they go in case they need it to take a
I
picture.
mean, yeah, but we never saw that camera until she was
No,
up
I wasn't paying
the
attention.
Gatling
Yeah,
hook.
you're right. She
Now,
couldn't have had.
Batman
Yeah,
Batman
I don't
actually
know.
takes her back to the Bat Lair,
Batcave.
Bat Cave, and the Bat Cave's under his house, right?
Um. Well, I guess it kind of depends on what Batman you're looking at.
Yeah.
Um, I know it's connected
I
to
was
his
just
house.
curious because I was wondering if she realized like at any point where she was.
Yeah, because it's kind of it's weird because no, he shined the light on her face when he was driving, and then he headed straight toward a rock, and she screamed and covered her eyes, and the rock opened up and he went
Yeah,
through. So she doesn't know where she's at, but sometimes whenever they show Batman, well Bruce Wayne discovering the Batcave, he's always running on his property, and then falls in this well, and then finds out, oh, this is the Batcave. Well,
yeah.
I always wonder who worked on it, who helped him build it. He couldn't do all of that by himself, just him and Alfred. You know,
Well, he got a lot of money, so
he gonna hire someone. What are you gonna do? Kill these people or tell them don't say what you've been working on and all of this stuff?
he got sign NDAs.
Yeah, right. Then when Batman shows up, somebody could have been like, you know what? Maybe I might know where he lives. I might know where his house is.
How much money you got? Vicky straight up asked Batman, like, why did you bring me here? And he's like, well, I was trying to help you figure this out and everything like that. I just wanted to, but then he stands up and is like, well, I did need one other thing. And then all of a sudden she wakes up in her room. So
Yeah,
he
he drugged
obviously
her.
knocked her out
Yeah, drugged her.
and took her back home. And the first thing she realized, because at first I was like, need something else. What is happening here? But he wanted those photos, and he did. He took the photos.
I was surprised he took the photos. Like, why would he take them? I mean, she didn't get his face. She took pictures of him fighting. That could have showed that he was a good guy.
Well, at
I
that
don't know.
point, she doesn't know what he was. He had, you know, with those kind of cameras, you had to wait and develop the film. So
Yeah,
I guess he couldn't be too sure what she covered.
yeah, you're right.
So this back to the talk Alfred and Bruce had. He decides apparently he's going to go tell her. So he shows up at her house, and you know this should be a very easy conversation. Hey, guess what? Bruce Wayne, guess what? I'm also Batman. But he's going about it. He's taking the longest way to to get this conversation out long enough to where it allows the Joker to show up and mess everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the Joker shows up, he doesn't realize Bruce Wayne is there at first. And he's
Right.
mad about it when he finds out.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows he can't. Apparently, he's not like Superman. He doesn't carry the Batman suit underneath his clothes, which I don't think he would be able to anyway.
No, no.
So he has to improvise because the Joker at one point does shoot him,
And
and
I'm about to ruin the movie for other people too at this point.
go for it.
Because this is the first time Bruce Wayne and the Joker have come face to face, right?
Yeah,
All right. And Joker says something to Bruce Wayne in this moment. You know, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? And Bruce Wayne remembers this because he heard this before. This wasn't his first time hearing the saying. And he realizes where he knows Joker from. He knows that that's Jack Napier. Now, we find out a little bit later, not long after this, that Jack Napier is the person who killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
yep,
Bruce Wayne family are rich people. When Jack kills them, he had to have known who it was he killed. Like maybe not in that moment, but it would have been on the news. It would have been in the newspapers. He would have
yeah,
known that I killed Thomas Wayne, Thomas and Martha Wayne.
yeah,
And I let their kid live only because we had to go. So he should have known, like, oh, this is the boy. This is Bruce Wayne. This he should have known who Bruce Wayne is. I don't, I don't. And back in '89, I didn't realize this because I was a little kid. But now watching this, it's like everybody should know who Bruce Wayne is. So
yep.
he should have automatically known, like, oh man, you're the kid that I let go.
And
So
he
go ahead.
pretends like he doesn't even know who Bruce Wayne is. Like
Yeah,
you wonder how many people is he killing and leaving their kids alive?
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. So he ends up shooting
So
Bruce.
yeah, but what we don't know until we find out, he grabbed a tray earlier, a metal tray. So apparently he put it in his chest, knowing if he got shot, it would be good.
Yeah, he had a lot of faith in that tray because I didn't know trays were bulletproof. I didn't know they were bulletproof like that. A makeup tray.
Well, and he luckily the gun that Joker had wasn't that powerful, but he goats the Joker into shooting him. So he kind of knew what he was doing.
He's
Hopefully
lucky he didn't
trying
get
to
shot more than
save,
once.
yeah, hopefully to get I think he was trying to help save Vicky from any trouble, but he the second they all leave the room, like he gets up and leaves the tray, and then you go, oh, okay. Because at that point, I'm going, he must have had the bat suit under, but he had that stupid tray,
Now Vicky should have wondered where the hell did he go? How the hell did he get out of here in my apartment? Like,
right?
did he just jump out the window? He didn't go through the front door.
I
How
know.
how the hell did he just disappear?
But why did he disappear?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I would have
He
told her
just
to
keeps
call
running out on
911.
her.
Yeah. She should think like this guy is weird. That's what she should think.
He is weird. And the Joker left for a present. It was like a Jack in the Box with a hand and some dead flowers. So I don't know what the hell that was. So getting a little closer to the end. Um, the end of this was kind of weird because we, you know, Bruce figures out there's a combination of the products that if put together, that's
Hmm.
what kills you. So it was like lipstick and cologne and some weird
Different
hairspray. I don't even
combinations of
remember
different combinations of things. The Joker had
that we
put
use
this
every day.
poison everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
in all types of products, food, whatever, everything, lotion, deodorant, hairspray,
So he basically
cosmetic.
tells everyone like, don't use these combinations of things, and we'll get new products in soon, and everything should be fine. So the Joker has to switch it up. He's talking about throwing like $50 million or
20.
whatever, twenty
Yeah,
million
20.
dollars
Yeah, because
to the people, but
so
he's gonna
the mayor had the mayor through the whole movie has been wanting to plan this celebration, but then he
yes
gets to a point where he's like, you know what, there's too much going on. We're going to cancel it, and then that's when the Joker takes over the feed and says, no, I'm going to give $20 million at midnight. All you got to do
yeah
is
because
come
he
down and
wants
get
all
it.
these people out so he's got a balloon full of the gas.
I don't understand why he wanted to kill everyone. That didn't make any sense to me. Like, why did he just want to just kill people for
He
no
really
reason?
didn't say.
Yeah, he didn't demand anything. He was just like, you know what, all you have to die, and I'm going to kill you.
I mean, I think it's more like a just a chaos thing type of deal.
Yeah,
He
maybe.
just, maybe if he can create enough chaos, then he can create anarchy, and then he's got a master plan. He's gonna steal a bunch of money. I don't know. He never really made clear what
Mm-mm.
his goals were, because if you're throwing away $20 million, your goal isn't money.
Well, yeah.
But why are you trying to kill everybody? I don't know. So, but
And he said
his
he said that, even though you guys are gonna come down here, there's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be me and Batman, and we're gonna fight.
yeah, and I think that's what his ultimate goal became after the Batman kept kind of thwarting all his plans.
Hmm.
So, Batman, he gets dressed and he goes back out, and he's gonna stop everything. He gets in his
Oh, hold
car
on,
and
hold on, hold on. Let's go back for a second because something else happens. He's reminiscing about his parents, and we see his parents die, this,
oh
that, and
yeah,
the other. And then Alfred brings Vicky into the Batcave just on his own. Decides, you know what? Enough of this. I'm gonna tell her who he is. Like, Alfred
yeah.
would have been fired.
Can't fire Alfred. Alfred's family.
Alfred, he would have got a dock and pay or something. Something has to happen to Alfred. Like, come on, man. We can't just be letting people know my secret. So now Vicky
No,
knows who Batman is.
yeah.
And she didn't seem upset or worried about his safety or anything.
Well, it explained a lot, so at least some of the stuff she was worried about doesn't have to worry about it anymore. But Batman takes off. He's gonna, try to save the day, which really sucks because it really leaves Vicky vulnerable,
Yeah.
which is a problem later, because while the Joker's goating Batman and the rest of the town, his people lure Vicky to this tower.
Oh, no, no, hold on. I have a question, but another question.
Yeah,
So the Joker, everybody comes down and they're at the celebration. He's throwing the money away. He is giving the money away. He's throwing the money away. And then he decides, okay, now it's time. I'm going to release the gas on everybody. I'm just going to gas people. So he starts letting the gas out, and people start dying. These people are falling over. They have money in their hands, and they got the smiles on their face, and they're dying. And then, did you see Knox go into the trunk of his car, and he got one of those, what those masks we had during COVID? The N something, N95,
and
95, whatever. He
yeah,
had one of those, and he's beating people off with a bat. So the chemicals are in the air. But then he jumps on Vicky's car. She accidentally hits him, and he's on the hood of her car. And she stops. He falls off. He no longer has the mask on his face. How come he did not die? Vicky gets out of her car. She does not have a mask on. She's breathing air. She doesn't die. I'm thinking, like, what happened? Like, all these people around them are getting the toxins in their system, and they're falling over dying. These two aren't. I didn't
the
understand
immune,
that
I
part.
guess. Yeah,
Or
that part
Joker's
was
guys. Joker's guys who were they didn't have masks on, and they were okay also. I didn't get that. But some of them did fall with, because Batman took the balloons away. Some of them did fall, but for a lot of them, I didn't get that part.
the funny thing is Batman takes the balloons away with his bat uh plane or whatever,
The Batwing, I had that toy
and
too.
the Joker is like, those are my balloons. I didn't know
Yeah,
he had one of those.
yeah, that was pretty
He's
funny.
all pissed off, and then he finds Vicky and takes her up to this tower. And this part was weird because it was like a tower, it was like a
It
bell
was a
tower in
church.
a church,
It was a church. Yeah,
but like Batman was like falling over in the church.
yeah. He was hurt. He was
Okay,
hurt because remember, for some reason, Joker was able to shoot down the Batwing when he came back around. Now I didn't
with that
understand. Like
big with that big weird staff gun.
it looked like a long, just a long pistol. But I was
I
thinking like
know
this.
it's
There's no way that that thing should have been able to shoot down the
it
Batwing.
really shouldn't have been. I said the same thing.
No, that shouldn't have happened. But also, we see Batman in the Batwing, and he has Joker in his sights. We see the target, and somehow he missed him. I didn't understand that part either. And then
Uh,
lastly,
Alfred forgot to calibrate the bat wing.
and then lastly, like you said, so Joker takes Vicky, and he takes her into the church, and they're going all the way up to the top of the cathedral. And Batman is walking up steps too. Batman normally would just he would swing up there. He would
That's
use
what I
his
thought.
ropes and his grapples, and he would never. I've never seen Batman take the steps anywhere.
I was thinking the same thing. I
So
was like, dude,
that was strange.
why are you
Those two
taking the
parts were
long
strange.
way?
Yeah.
Why are you taking the long way? Joker gets all the way to the top, and he uses his flower with the acid in it to drop the bell
Hmm.
on the anybody else, and then he has a helicopter that's supposed to come get him. So him
Hmm.
and Batman are fighting. Batman's getting the best of him, and then he throws Vicky over the side. She's hanging on. Then gets thrown over to the side while he's trying to go up on this ladder, and Batman helps Vicky, and uh, Batman grapples Joker's foot and wraps it around a gargoyle to get him to to a point where he's gonna fall, and then pulls him down. So of course he falls to his death, and then the Batman, saves Vicky with his grappling hook, and they drop for a good point until the grappling hook catches and drops him
Hmm.
into something soft. And you always wonder, like, is the Joker really dead? But there's always a new Joker around the corner. So
Yeah, there were rumors that they were going to say that. I remember this at the time that they were going to do. They were going to have Joker come back at some point, and they were going to say that that wasn't really him. But I was like, that would have been stupid. That we clearly saw that was, Jack
yeah,
Napier Joker who fell off and died. So that would have been stupid if they had brought him back. But and then that was it.
Vicky gives up her pursuit of the Batman, and Knox is a little upset about it, but whatever. And then you see Alfred tell her that Bruce is going to be a little bit late, and she just goes, "Of course, haha," because now she knows.
Right, and that was it. And the Batman. What are you going to grade? Are you going to give this?
B plus.
I'm gonna give it an A minus because I feel like it held up. Like I have not seen this movie in a long time, and it
Me
it
neither.
held it 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 held up pretty good. Like I didn't see anything that was corny really. I didn't see
No,
anything that even the CGI. It was special effects that didn't really take me out of it or anything like that. It held up pretty good for something that came out in '89. And I remember
no, it was
everybody
great.
going crazy about this movie when it came out, but think about all the other superhero properties that were out before this. This makes that stuff look really bad. It makes the Superman movies look bad. It makes that
Oh,
Spider-Man
100%.
it makes the Spider-Man television show look bad. It makes Shazam had a show in the late 70s, early 80s that made
Oh,
that
yeah.
look bad. It makes Wonder Woman and Incredible Hulk's TV shows don't live up to, like, so a lot of like this really set the standards. This put the superhero movies on a whole nother level. So I believe that's one reason why everyone went crazy when this came out. Plus, the first Batman movie besides the Batman '66. This was
Yeah,
this was
and
a
it
popular
really
thing.
set the tone. And I mean, how many more did they do after this? What, four or
Three,
five? Even
three.
though they get slightly a little worse.
Yeah.
here and there,
Every
but
time. This is the best it's gonna get. Every time after this, it's gonna go down. But yeah, they have
but
three more. So they have Batman Returns, then you have Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin.
yeah,
Or yeah, I think Batman and Robin was the last one. Yeah.
and they still get we're getting A-list celebrities
Yeah.
for all these, and so it was interesting. It was
Yeah.
always pretty good.
All right. So next week we're gonna go with Batman Returns. We're gonna go with the sequel. All
That's
right.
with Danny DeVito as the
Yep.
Penguin.
Danny DeVito's in it. Who else? Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. Uh, uh, oh man, I'm blanking on my man's name. Uh, the white hair guy. Oh man, I know him so well too. This is gonna drive me crazy. I gotta say his name because I'm gonna sound. This is gonna look bad. I don't know his name. Hold on, people. Hold on.
Good old Batman Returns. I kind
Um,
of remember this movie, even though I haven't seen it in a while. And I do
Christopher
remember,
Walken.
like,
Christopher
oh
Walken.
yeah, Christopher Walken. Who
Yeah.
does he play?
He is a made up character for the movie. I haven't
Oh,
seen this
okay.
character. His name is Max Shrek. That's his
Oh,
name.
why is he a made up character? I'm sure they could have found something good for him.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that either, man. But I've never heard of Max Shrek in any other Batman anything before. So
Yeah, me neither.
all
Interesting.
right. Anything else, man?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So I will talk to you next week. Everyone stay safe, stay strong, and stay super.
You did it.
A little bit. It's hard, man. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. All the S's, I guess. I don't know. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week.